Why Can't We All Just Get Along? By Lena Hilliard. America, land of the free, home of the brave. We have convinced ourselves that we are the greatest country in the world. We wage wars and fight to spread the influence of democracy. However, it is impossible to think that we are the perfect example of a productive government. We fight and bicker without making decisions and without serving the American people. Congress shuts down the government because we no longer know the definition of reaching across the aisle. We are so polarized as a country that I do not believe we are entitled to the name the United States. Let's be honest. We need help. Let's make Democrats and Republicans enter into couples therapy and rebuild the marriage between the two ideologies. We must end the disparity occurring in America and unify the country and its people. According to social psychologist Jonathan Haidt in the TED Talk, How Common Threats Can Make Common Political Ground, there are 3 reforms that can be made to increase bipartisanship. Number 1. Elect fewer hyperpartisan officials. These are officials who lean so heavily to one side of the spectrum that they are not open to compromise. We have created a form of political competition and have pitted the Democrats against the Republicans. We need to stop calling officials rhinos, Republicans in name only, and dinos, Democrat in name only, and instead take into account the ideas of the other side. Number 2. Weaken pressures on politicians to act hyper-partisan. Today, the term Republican and Democrat embody so many different ideas and ideals that it is impossible to be solely on the side of one party. A person can be socially Democrat, fiscally Republican, morally Libertarian, and many more. This causes politicians to flip-flop in an attempt to please their audience. By accepting the fact that a politician from your party may not always agree with you and attempting to understand these different ideas, we will be able to lift the pressure on politicians to always be working to please everyone. Number 3. Rebuild cross-party relationships. We must unify the Democrat and Republican Party to allow them to work together to solve the country's problems. It is important to remember that Republicans and Democrats share a common goal, the goal to preserve democracy and protect personal freedoms. This can only be done if everyone is working together. Rebuilding party relationships is similar to rebuilding a marriage. Step 1. Establish methods to manage conflicts. Step 2. Resist pointing fingers when something goes wrong, especially when no one party is to blame. Step 3. Focus on self-improvement instead of fixing the other party. Step 4. Each party must accept the other party for what it is and try and focus on where they agree instead of where they disagree. As we look toward the 2016 elections, the parties are already rolling up their sleeves and gearing up for a nasty fight. Republicans and Democrats alike have already begun taking hits at possible candidates like Hillary Clinton and Chris Christie. These politicians are being attacked before they have even announced their campaigns. Can one party say anything positive about the other? Chances are we'll have another election where half of eligible Americans don't even feel motivated enough to show up to the polls. So what can we, as individual citizens, do on a grassroots level? Number 1, we can go out and exercise our right to vote. However, we must vote for the candidate who best reflects our political views, not the one we think is most electable. Voters must become educated on every candidate and avoid falling victim to the mass media's promotion of reporting only what the viewers agree with. If you are a Republican, listen to MSNBC. If you are a Democrat, listen to Fox News. If we cannot find a way to unite the parties, then we must entertain the idea of changing the way we implement democracy into our society. As Americans, we may believe that we have democracy all figured out. However, our form of democracy may not be the most effective. There are currently 123 democratic countries in the world today. It is narcissistic to blindly assume that America is the greatest democratic nation on earth. Our method of electing leaders and passing laws has failed us in the past and will fail us in the future. We need to fix our laws and look at other methods of running an effective government. But we need to have realistic expectations of what our government can do for us.